At sunrise, the town of Dry Creek wakes in slow gold light. Dust hangs in the air like memory, stirred by the faint clatter of wagon wheels and the creak of swinging doors. The street smells of iron, hay, and last night's whiskey. Beside the well stands a thin horse, ribs showing through her hide, mane tangled with burrs, one ear half torn. Her eyes look older than the desert hills behind her. Elias Boone, the horse merchant, leans on the fence post, pipe between his teeth, watching her like a man studying a mirror he doesn't want to face. He's been selling horses his whole life, strong ones, broken ones, and the kind that never learned to trust. This one, he knows, might be the saddest creature he's ever led into town. He's waiting for Clint Rourke, the mountain man. The name alone makes townsfolk glance up. They say he can break any horse, charm any widow, and survive alone in snow deep enough to swallow houses. Elias needs the sale, needs the coin. But as he watches the dust shimmer on the horizon, a thought stirs. Maybe he's selling more than a horse today. Maybe he's trying to sell what's left of his own pride. Clint appears as a blur through the sunlight, his stallion dark as pitch, his silhouette tall against the dawn. He rides into town like he's part of the landscape, quiet, certain, belonging nowhere and everywhere at once. Men nod, women whisper. He doesn't answer. Elias straightens. "Morning, Rourke. Got something that'll serve you well." Clint dismounts, his boots sinking into the dust. He circles the frail horse, silent, his hand running over her side. "This one's seen more sorrow than strength," he mutters, voice low as gravel. "She's cheap," Elias says. "Just needs handling." Clint studies her a while longer, then shakes his head. "She's not for me." Elias frowns. "Not for you. She's wild stock. You're the best hand in these parts." "Maybe so," Clint says, "but not every creature needs taming. Some just need peace." Elias scoffs, half offended, half wary. Peace don't sell. But Clint's eyes drift beyond him, to the porch of the boarding house, where a young woman stands with an armful of laundry. May Weller. Heavy set, quiet, face flushed from the morning heat. She pauses mid-fold, watching from afar. Not curiosity, something gentler, sadder. The horse turns its head toward her. Ears flick forward. May smiles, a small, hesitant thing, as if smiling too wide might break the moment. Clint notices. "Seems she's already chosen her company," he says softly. Elias laughs. "That girl? She wouldn't know which end to feed." Townswomen nearby giggle behind their fans. Men smirk. May looks down, cheeks burning, fingers gripping the laundry so tight the fabric wrinkles. Her mother's voice carries from inside the boarding house. "May, quit gawking. You'll get ideas again." Elias tugs the horse's reins roughly. "See? Skittish thing." May flinches, not from the horse, but from the sound of the whip of leather against bone. Clint steps back. "You shouldn't pull her like that." Elias stiffens. "You buying or preaching?" "Neither," Clint says, turning to leave. "Not today." As he mounts up, May's voice rises, thin, uncertain, trembling through the air like a bird about to fall. "Mr. Boone, how much for her?" The street freezes. Elias blinks, then laughs. "You?" May's voice quivers. She looks lonely is all. Someone snickers. Another voice, sharp and cruel. "Horse'll collapse under her before sundown." May's eyes glisten, but she holds steady. Maybe she just needs someone gentle. The laughter swells, a cruel kind of music. Elias shakes his head. "Tell you what, Miss Weller. If you can walk her across the square without getting kicked, she's yours. No coin needed." The crowd quiets. Clint doesn't move. His face darkens with something unreadable. May swallows hard and steps forward. The horse breathes heavy, whites of her eyes showing. Dust curls around May's boots as she moves, slow, cautious. Whispering words only the horse can hear. The crowd leans forward. "She's gonna get thrown." Someone mutters. May reaches out her trembling hand. "It's all right, girl," she whispers. "Nobody's gonna hurt you." The horse flinches once, twice, then lowers her head. May touches the tangled mane, her palm resting there like a promise. For a heartbeat, the whole town holds its breath. Elias's pipe slips from his mouth. Clint dismounts again, quiet astonishment flickering in his eyes. The horse nudges May's chest softly, a gesture of trust. The laughter dies into wind. May looks at Elias. Cheeks streaked with tears she refuses to wipe. Guess she walks with me now. No one dares speak. That evening, May leads the horse. Hollow, she decides to name her, through the back gate of the boarding house. The sky bleeds orange over the hills. Children watch from doorways, whispering. Inside, her mother scolds. You'll bring shame to us, May Weller. Feeding a beast when you can barely feed yourself. May brushes the horse anyway, hands gentle as prayer. She's not a beast, she says softly. She's just tired of being sold. Out by the well, Elias Boone stands in the dusk, hat in his hands, the ghost of guilt creeping into his eyes. Clint Rourke lingers near the alley, watching. The faintest smile crosses his face, not the kind that loves, but the kind that understands. The town lights fade, one by one, until only the sound of Hollow's breathing and May's humming fills the yard. Two lonely souls, finding peace where the world saw none. The mornings in Dry Creek turn gentler after that day. The gossip doesn't vanish. Gossip never does, but it changes shape. Folks who once laughed now peek through curtains when May leads Hollow to the riverbank at dawn. Her steps are lighter, her breath steadier, her laughter rare but real. The horse follows her like a shadow that's finally learned warmth. The world notices small miracles first, the shine of Hollow's coat returning, the calm in her eyes, the way May's face glows in early light as she hums old hymns. Children begin leaving carrots by the fence. Old men stop pretending not to watch. Even Elias Boone, that grizzled merchant, finds himself walking past the boarding house more often, pipe gone cold in his hand. He tells himself he's only checking on the animal. But each time he sees May kneeling in the dust, brushing Hollow's mane, he feels something in him ache, the part of him that remembers kindness before profit. He wonders if that's what guilt feels like when it finally grows roots. One evening, Clint Rourke returns from the hills. His clothes smell of pine and rain. He ties his stallion by the post and leans against the rail, watching May and Hollow move together in slow rhythm. Trust built out of patience, not power. You did right by her, he says when May notices him. May smiles shyly. She did right by me first. He nods, simple and sure, as though that settles all debts between people and beasts alike. Then he turns to go, leaving the moment unspoken, sacred in its silence. Days stretch into weeks. The town learns to live with the strange sight of the heavy girl and her once broken horse. But Elias Boone cannot. The merchant's heart is a cluttered stable of regret, and each day that passes without coin makes the silence in him louder. He dreams of Hollow at night, remembers her eyes when he jerked the reins, the look May gave him afterward, forgiveness he never earned. One night, the guilt drives him down the narrow lane to the boarding house, bottle in hand. Lantern light flickers in the yard. Hollow sleeps under the awning. May hums somewhere inside, her voice soft as smoke. Elias approaches the horse, muttering, "You're wasted here, girl. You were meant for the trail, not for pity." He grips the reins, ready to lead her away, but Hollow doesn't move. Her ears flatten, her muscles tense. And then May's voice cuts through the night, quiet but clear. "Let go, Mr. Boone." Elias turns. She's standing barefoot in the doorway, hair unbraided, nightdress billowing in the wind. Her face isn't angry, it's tired. The kind of tired that comes from years of being told you can't. The horse ain't right in your hands. Elias mutters, "She's right where she belongs." May says, for a moment. The two simply stare at each other, the old merchant and the girl no one believed in. Then a low voice joins them from the shadows. "Let her be, Boone." Clint steps forward, arms folded, face carved in moonlight. He's been camping nearby, keeping watch, maybe for the horse, maybe for the girl. Elias's grip weakens. The bottle slips, shattering in the dirt. He looks down, then up again, eyes wet. "You're both better folk than me," he whispers. "Take care of her. And yourself." He leaves, shoulders sagging beneath the weight of his own redemption beginning. The next night, the wind howls strange, dry, and restless. Somewhere in the dark, a lantern tips inside the boarding house barn. Straw catches, flames leap, and within moments the night explodes in orange light. May wakes to Hollow's screams. Without thinking, she runs, barefoot, half-dressed, lungs filling with smoke. The barn roars like Judgment Day. Townsfolk gather, shouting, "Let it burn." It's no use. But May doesn't hear them. She's already inside. The air is thick, the heat searing. Hollow thrashes, trapped under a fallen beam. May stumbles through smoke, eyes streaming, hands raw as she tries to lift the timber. Her muscles shake, her body screams, but she doesn't stop. Easy, girl, she coughs. I'm here. Then another pair of hands grips the beam. Clint. His face is streaked with soot, jaw tight, voice steady. On three. They heave together. The beam shifts, crashes aside. Hollow bolts free into the open night. May collapses, coughing, half-conscious. Clint lifts her, carrying her through the smoke as the barn crumbles behind them. The sky raining sparks like 1,000 falling stars. Outside, Hollow circles them, nickering softly, refusing to leave. May opens her eyes, sees the horse's face against the firelight, and smiles through tears. We did it, she whispers before fainting. When morning comes, Dry Creek stands silent before the ruins. The townsfolk who once mocked her now whisper in awe. A girl they called weak had faced the flames for what she loved. Elias Boone arrives with a wagon of wood and nails. He doesn't ask permission. He just starts rebuilding. Clint helps. Mrs. Weller, eyes swollen with shame and pride, brings water for them both. Children fetch hay and feed. The town, once cruel in its smallness, begins to grow something like graced by the week's end. A new barn stands, not grand, but honest. Hollow rests inside, calm as a churchyard morning. May brushes her gently, the sunlight gilding her hair. Clint stands nearby, quiet as ever. You planning to ride her now? He asks. May hesitates. I thought maybe. Someday. Someday's here, he says to so she does. Slowly, carefully, she climbs on a Hollow's back. The town gathers again, not to laugh this time, but to watch. Hollow shifts, steady and patient. May sits tall, trembling but radiant. For a long, breathless moment, the world stands still. Then the horse steps forward, one step, then another, until they're moving across the square, sunlight painting them in gold. Elias Boone removes his hat, head bowed. Guess the mountain man was right, he murmurs. Some creatures don't need breaking, just someone to listen. May dismounts, her legs unsteady, her eyes full. Clint nods once, that small, knowing smile ghosting across his face, and as dusk falls, the narrator's voice returns, soft and weathered, the sound of memory itself speaking. They say in Dry Creek there once was a merchant who learned shame, a horse who found her heart again, and a girl who carried the weight of every cruel word till it turned to strength. Folks still see her sometimes by the river at sunset, riding that same mare through the fading light, heavy and holy, unashamed. And if ever you feel unseen, remember her. Remember how the world tried to measure her worth and failed. Because grace doesn't weigh what the eyes see. It listens to what the heart dares to keep alive.